At Covenant School.
An elderly woman is still unaccounted for after this house fire in Spanish Fork this morning.
Tragedy in the backcountry.
In the forecast.
All right, Kevin, we'll see you in just a bit. Well, right now, crews are digging through charred rubble, trying to find a woman whose home burned.
News specialist Alex Cabero, live for us in Spanish Fork tonight. And Alex, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Mike, this is the biggest concern right now is exactly where that woman is. She has been missing. Nobody has been able to find her. She is still unaccounted for after the home she was in started burning this morning. Now, that is her home. It is located right back there. This is just off of 3000 East Somerset Village Way in Spanish Fork. Fire crews have been here all day long, not only looking for her, but also putting out hot spots. And with as windy as it is here today, we've seen some flames that have kept kicking up from that house. Firefighters were alerted just after 6:30 this morning when someone going by the house saw flames and smoke and called 911. These homes are twin homes similar to duplexes. Everyone nearby was evacuated from their homes because the flames were so intense. At one point, the roof collapsed, making it so firefighters could not fight the fire from within. Now, the woman who lives here, her car was found into the garage, but so far no one knows where she is. That includes her family who came here as well. Right now, that is the biggest question.
Being in Spanish Fork, it's a very tight-knit community here, and this HOA is very close-knit as well. And you will see many neighbors still outside of this occupancy, just standing by, waiting to hear what the news is.
We spoke with some of those neighbors, including a man who lives nearby and saw the whole thing. We will have his interview coming up in our 6 o'clock newscast. As far as the cause of the fire, that is still being investigated. For now, though, for Live at 5, I'm Alex Cabrera.
Alex, thank you. Well, happening now, several flags across the U.S. flying at half-staff.
How long it all sticks around. I'll have it for you in just a bit.
Here we go again. Thanks, Kevin. Still no sign of a Spanish Fork woman whose home was burned this morning.
Yeah, fire crews have been going through the rubble right now, searching for her in this mess here. News specialist Alex Cabero live for us in that neighborhood tonight. And Alex, any updates at this point?
Mike, I just checked in with the firefighters in the last 10-15 minutes and no updates just yet. She is still unaccounted for. This is where she lived, that home right there, which is near 3000 East Somerset Village Way in Spanish Fork. It's pretty much demolished at this point. Fire crews have been here all day long, putting out hot spots and doing their best to try and find her and also figure out exactly what happened.
House fire in my neighborhood.
It is a helpless feeling,
I wish there was more I could do.
knowing all you could do was watch and hope.
That was my main concern. I knew there was an old lady that lived there.
Porter Black lives just down the road from this Spanish Fork house and saw it all happen.
I saw a bunch of smoke coming out through the roof, and then only about 10 minutes went by, it started barreling right through the top.
Those flames were so intense, the roof collapsed shortly after, preventing firefighters from going inside, which they were planning to do when they heard someone might be in there.
We do have one female that may be unaccounted for at this time. We've not been able to make contact, so we are currently still doing an investigation as well as looking for that unaccounted individual.
The woman's car was found in her garage. Family members came here telling firefighters they haven't heard from her and can't reach her. Crews dug through the rubble once the fire was out, but with so much debris, going through items one by one, so far, nothing.
It's a very tight-knit community here, and this HOA is very close-knit as well. And you will see many neighbors still outside of this occupancy, just standing by, waiting to hear what the news is.
That's what Black was doing.
I've ran into her a few times and spoken to her when I first moved in.
And like everyone else here, all he could do was wait.
Sweet, nice lady. That just makes me feel even worse about it.
And fire crews are still here going through the rubble. Some lights have been brought in, so it could be a long night for them. Mike and Dini, the exact cause of the fire, that is still being investigated.
All right, Alex Cabero live for us this evening in Spanish Fork. Alex, thank you. New at 6, Salt Lake City restaurants follow this throughout the evening. Many people wonder how to help after tragedies like this one. That was the thought of a Utah artist after Uvalde.
He ended up doing something that he never thought imaginable. And today we're joined by news specialist Dan Rascone with more on what an amazing effort this was.
Yeah, it really was an amazing effort, and it was just really humbling and amazing to be able to meet these families and to see what they had been through there. You know, the day was May 24th of last year. That's when a lone gunman entered Robb Elementary and killed 19 kids and 2 teachers. Utah artist J.R. Johansson saw that on the news and wanted to do something. That's when his brother-in-law, who just so happens to live in Uvalde, gave him a call.
Have you considered that you might be able to paint a portrait of those that passed away? And I could hear him break into tears in his voice as he said, that has been on my mind and my heart as well.
And I said, well, you're the answer, because I've been wanting to do it, just didn't have any idea how I could possibly do it with the schedule I have.
J.R. then went to work over the next several months. He painted every one of the 21 victims. His brother-in-law, Ross Davidson, provided him with photos and bios of each one of the victims. This allowed him to be able to get to know each child so he could help bring out the responsibilities and characteristics on canvas. Well, then in the end of January, you see him here. J.R. boxed up those photos and traveled to Uvalde, Texas. We were with him as he made this once-in-a-lifetime trip. He's been a part of some pretty big projects and paintings of missionaries who have passed away while serving, but never anything like this. Then he personally delivered the portraits to each one of the families. It was a very tender scene as families saw these portraits.
The picture that he used to do this painting was taken last year at Halloween. She wanted to be a cheerleader. What strikes me the most about this picture is her eyes. They were the most beautiful hazel, and you really captured it.
There, of course, is much more to this story here. Now, coming up this Sunday at noon, after the first session of General Conference, see the story, the Uvalde Angels. And personally, as I mentioned there, just a really special trip for me to be able to see that firsthand and be able to meet some of these families and see what they've been through. But just a really touching moment to see him as he handed those portraits off.
And he did it by sharing a talent that only he uniquely could offer them in that moment.
And they felt
so
that.
neat.
No.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And Uvalde Angels, one of several special reports you will see.